This is the MBK Beat with Mark Kaszewski from MBK and Associates, Inc. Your place for finding all you need to know about life insurance and how you can get more out of your money. Recorded live here in Buffalo, New York, it's time for the MBK Beat with Mark Kaszewski. Hey folks, how we doing today? My name's Jeremy. I'm here with Mark Kaszewski from MBK and Associates, Inc. And we're here with the 6th episode of the MBK Beat podcast. Today we're talking about the executive trifecta plan. But before we get into that, Mark, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit to the viewer and just let them know a little bit about MBK and why we're here today.
Well, MBK and Associates, Inc. is a insurance and executive benefit consulting firm. We've been in business since 1980, and we focus on working with business owners and professionals and high net worth individuals to show them how various insurance planning strategies can add value to their financial environment.
Thanks for that. I just wanted to sort of, reintroduce to the viewers, any new viewers today or people that are sort of back for another episode. Thank you. If it's your first time listening, please, tell a friend. We're here to demonstrate value to anyone here in Western New York or anyone in the country that may have a question about anything to do with life insurance or their high executive benefits, or just have a question for Mark. You can find him at, is it info@mbkinc.co?
Yes.
And that is obviously the website too, mbkinc.co. You'll find a lot of useful information on there. We've been trying to really fill it up with a lot of useful things on the blog, and you'll obviously find the video podcast. And if you want to just listen in your car or on your own time, you can just subscribe to audio on Apple and Spotify. So now that we've got all the dirty work out of the way, we're here today to talk about executive trifecta. Now, you had mentioned to me this is something that's not necessarily new. There's been other things that have been done in the past, but who is this episode? Who are we talking to today specifically? Because obviously each plan is different.
This insurance planning strategy is really targeted for the owners of successful businesses and professional offices that have a key employees, executives, a CFO, VP of HR, marketing, junior partner, and these business owners are trying to either recruit and or retain these people long term. And the loss of them, if they were to die prematurely, would have a negative impact on the business. So these strategies are designed really targeted at the business owner who has a key employee or executive that they're trying to recruit, retain, or they would suffer significant financial loss if they were to die.
So not unlike if someone were to insure their physical property or, obviously the building or so, the factory where the work is done, or where, the office, any physical property, obviously a human you can't rebuild. So, talk a little bit about like what demonstrates that value to a company that sort of some industries that you've seen in the past that utilize this, just a couple of, real world examples of what that looks like.
Well, you bring up a good point. I like to use the analogy, everybody likes to insure the golden eggs, the building, the inventory, the contracts, what have you. You can buy insurance on all those things, but who's producing those eggs? It's the goose that produces the golden eggs. And if the goose isn't around, the eggs tend to, dry up. So you can insure the goose for life insurance and for disability. So the nexus of this strategy really starts with key man life insurance to indemnify the business owner and his business for the financial risk and loss and the cost to replace a key employee if they should die. That's number one. Secondly, this strategy is designed to keep that goose in the hen house, so to speak, and not go anywhere by offering a supplemental retirement benefit if he stays for a period of 5 to 10 years, and to take care of his family if he should die during that time. The third thing that makes this plan unique is the fact that we can structure with these new generation insurance products a policy that creates immediate liquidity for the business. Typically in a life insurance contract, the first, second, in some cases the third year, there's not much cash value buildup in these policies. Certainly not in the first year. These contracts are designed to have, if not 100%, close to 100% liquidity in the first year. So that, to me, really creates a significant, shift in, why you would want to do this as a business owner. My comment to a business owner is, if you've got a key employee or executive that's driving business, making your life easier, adding to the bottom line, and you don't want them to leave, and it would be a loss if something happened, why don't you just move some money from your bank account to this policy, because you're not going to suffer any loss in liquidity. The only loss you're going to suffer is maybe some interest on your money. These contracts are designed to be 100% liquid all through the first 10 years. You may not gain any interest on that money, but you're going to have that money available. So for the cost of what you're earning in a savings account, you can keep the liquidity, indemnify against the loss of a key man, provide for his family, and create a retirement benefit to keep him there. It's a real robust strategy.
And just to kind of take a step back, you mentioned recruitment or retention, right? Like this would sort of, if a company is growing or at a new level of success, like you mentioned, protecting the egg that got you there. But would this be something that you feel for even a younger business owner that may be looking forward? Is this something that they could use in terms of recruiting high talent? Do you think that that's something?
Absolutely. I see it more in the banking and credit union industry, where these types of plans are structured as part of a recruitment package, primarily because in that space you're competing against financial institutions that do that. And if you're not on a level playing field, you're at a disadvantage, and that's the expectation. But if you're in a successful close-held business, I don't care what industry or service business you're in, it is very difficult to find top-notch, what we call C-level talent, to help grow and manage your organization. Very hard to find, and when you do, it doesn't come cheap. And if you have that type of person, people are taking shots to get them because they realize how good that person is. So, not that this is going to be the end-all, be-all, but when you can, I'm talking to an executive right now in a construction and development business, and about 3 or 4 years ago, he brought on this young gentleman to be a CFO, and I've noticed his business has taken off since this gentleman got there, and secondly, it's made his life a lot easier. And he's done things to keep him there. You don't get to be a successful CEO by not being smart and observant, but there's only so much you can do with salary and bonuses. There's some other things you can do, but the ability to create additional retirement income, or in fact, if you're young enough, we can create a strategy where when your kids go to college in 10 or 15 years, we'll have some tuition funds for you in addition to retirement planning. Those are very powerful retention tools.
Yeah, and on that topic, the side that we really haven't necessarily touched on is the family of said hypothetical key executive, and what protection does it provide for that person's family in the event that they don't unfortunately reach retirement and something happens to them?
Well, I'm looking at in my mind, an illustration that I have on the table now for this executive, and we're looking at $1 million of insurance coverage, which would be split equally between the family and the company. So if this executive died, his family, and he's got a young family with young kids, an additional $500,000 would be paid to them, and the owner would get a $500,000 income tax-free check to replace this person and to offset some of the loss of profits. If that executive sticks around, there's going to be money to pay some tuitions and or a retirement, an additional $40,000-$50,000 a year of tax-free income. That's a pretty good deal for everybody. And in the meantime, while it's being funded, the company doesn't lose any of its liquidity. That to me is huge because cash is king and cash flow is important in every business. And typically, when we're promoting a strategy, there's a cost, and it takes time to build up that liquidity in these contracts. Here, it's immediate. It's immediate, which is an anathema to what most people understand about our products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in some of my sort of homework on this topic leading up to today, a couple of things that I found a little bit interesting, just for the business owners out there, in the event that this key executive something did happen to them, just things that may not think about. Obviously the time to find a replacement, like we've talked about, if that person's bringing in and generating significant business, that's obviously cost, but that's going to have loss of profit there. And that's obviously permanent, but the time taken to replace that person, you're obviously having to assure your existing clients, some of your suppliers, possible loans that you have, deals with the bank. This helps with business continuity beyond all the financial benefits. This obviously for a business owner, it is still insurance, in terms of business insurance.
It's insuring the golden goose.
Right.
We're indemnifying the value of that employee so that if something happens, it gives you time and money to deal with the issue, we find a replacement, and while that's going on, maintain your cash flow that you had before you died. So it's not top of mind for most executives, but I try to remind business owners, do you recall when somebody important left your business in the last 10 years? And almost invariably, everybody will say, I do. I said, was that a problem? I said, yes, it was. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
So, that's the conversation we try to have, and we try to be observant with our clients and customers, saying, this is a situation I need to go talk to my client about, because nobody else is going to do it. Because that's what we do. We do what nobody else does.
And I think that's obviously important. Is this industry, and again, just to sort of restate why we started this podcast, was it became clear, in our sort of marketing and digital marketing world today, that this stuff does clearly have value. And if someone out there feels that they don't have the time or the interest, it's obvious with each episode, the more and more value that your organization can bring. In terms of what the first steps of something like this looks like, working with you and MBK and Associates for an executive or business owner or someone out there that may be listening, what does the beginning of a relationship look like with Mark?
I mean, with a relationship or this strategy?
Well, the business relationship.
Well, basically, we're looking to meet successful individuals, professionally or business owners, that we can relate to. I mean, when we either meet somebody off personal observation or through a recommendation, we're first trying to find out, do we like each other? Can we trust each other? And the third question I try to put on the table to help the business owner answer is, can he help me or add some value?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, and I tell people this when we make an appointment, I'm looking to meet you so we can get to know each other a little bit. You can find out what we do, and I can tell you if there's anything we can do to add value. And oftentimes, it's not 100%. Just because I go into a meeting with a potential client means, number one, we're going to be able to help them, and number two, we want to do business with them. Not everybody's user-friendly, and life, frankly, is too short. And some people are very difficult to do business with. Some people aren't. So we're looking to find people we can relate to, develop some mutual trust, and we feel and we can demonstrate and articulate that some of our competencies are going to make a difference and add value to their situation. If we can't add value to someone's current situation, that's the end of the discussion. So that's the mindset, the paradigm I'm working from. And I've done this for such a long time. You're just trying to deal with adults on a conversational basis, and then that would lead to kind of finding, getting the lay of the land of their business and financial situation. And I've done it for so long that we can start a conversation, and I can get a pretty quick read on what's going on, and offer ask questions about certain situations that I would want to focus on, and or offer up some concepts that might have some appeal, and say, listen, if any of these issues are making sense to you that I brought up, or these ideas may have some value, could we set up a second interview meeting to get some more information and maybe develop some potential strategies here that may make sense based on this conversation. And then ultimately, then you're designing plans around solutions or strategies to add value. And so it's a process. It's a dating game, a hand-holding game.
Yeah.
And you're converting it, the relationship from an introduction to a cursory relationship to a business relationship, and ultimately a client relationship.
Yeah, and I think people that may gravitate obviously to that natural formation of a business relationship in such a digital or faceless kind of society that we live in today. Things have obviously changed over the years, but it's become obviously clearer and clearer here on the podcast that just having somewhat of an unbiased outside look at something like that would be beneficial to any business owner, especially in today's climate.
Let me give you two examples, and this gets a little off the trifecta, or what I call, also referred to as the retention bonus strategy. I have one client. I was out. He called me. He had an issue on some existing contract. We were trying to remove an assignment with a bank that he no longer had a loan on, because we wanted to move his money from one account to another. And he can't do it because the assignment's on there. Well, this took me 3 months to get this done. Okay. And in the meantime, there was an insurance issue I've been pressing him on to address. So I said, well, let's go get this form taken care of, and I'm going to bring this up again. And I've done business with this client for a long time. And we get there. It turns out he's buying another business. He needs some more insurance. We take care of that. So what about this? I said, oh, think about it. I said, you really need to think about it. And his other half, who works with him in the business, wanted to know what's going on. And I told her. And his comment to me, that's not fair. I said, good. You talk about it over the weekend. We'll revisit this on Monday. But he said, well, Mark, you know what? The reason I do business with you is because you put it out there and you get things done. So, so I am not opposed to having unpleasant conversations with, people, difficult conversations, as the book references. But then so that's a client relationship. We're completely honest with each other. And, I'm there to really help him, and because of my experience, keep him from making some mistakes. And I'll take the other extreme is a client a potential client I as a result of a personal observation, met And they said, no, we haven't done any business planning. We don't have any buy-sell agreements. And this guy's got a very successful business. He's got a partner. They don't have a buy-sell agreement. I don't even know if they have wills, which is even a bigger disaster. Now they want to spend $5 million to, build a huge dealership. And, they're not going to get the loan without the insurance. I can't get this guy to sit down for 15 minutes, or his partner. And, I don't try to be I'm persistent. Someone told me the other day I'm dogged, but, I am persistent. But this is a really good guy. He's very successful, great business, treats his employees with tremendous respect, and they all love working for this guy. This kind of guy I want to do business with. But let me tell you, some people make it harder than others. But I get it. I mean, he's not looking to buy life insurance policies every day. He's looking to make more money in his business and grow his business, spend time with his family. So, I'm not number one on the list. But, I was in the shower this morning and thinking I've got to stop in and try to pin this guy down this morning, which is what I tried to do before I came here. And, I'm thinking, knowing what I know about his situation, he's done a great job. If something bad happens, the whole thing's going to go right down the toilet. The whole thing's going to go down the toilet. And he spent 15, 20 years to get where he's now, and nobody sat him down to take care of some of this stuff that could undo everything. So, I look at myself, everybody says, well, you're a salesman. Well, I'm in the business of selling product, but what I really am is an advocate to help people with my planning concepts that really solve problems and get people to a better place. That's what it's all about.
I think that's a pretty good place to sort of wrap up today's episode. But is there anything else that anybody needs to know about the Trifecta plan?
I would close on this. If you're a successful business owner and you were fortunate enough to listen into this podcast, if you've got anybody that you go to bed at night saying, I hope this guy doesn't leave, how do I keep this guy? You should be calling me because we've got a great answer to that question.
Perfect. Well, we're going to wrap that today. That's episode 6 of the MBK Beat. I think this was a terrific episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. But once again, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and also find all the video on YouTube. But once again, folks, it's worth a listen. Tell a friend, let someone know. And once again, like Mark said, if you have someone in your business that keeps you up at night, if this person were to leave or unfortunately something happened to them, you know where to find Mark, mbkinc.co or info@mbkinc.co. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Jeremy. Have a great day.
Thank you.